Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today we have got lots of updates from onboard cruise ships and things that are going on there, as well as big news about what is going on with itineraries in the Baltic. And then I've also just got a little bit to tell you and a clarification from a video that I did on March 2nd. And so first of all, I would like to welcome all of our Let's Go family members. Thank you so very much for being here. And also a big welcome to all of you who are new. We are really glad to have you with us. If there is anyone here who hasn't subscribed yet, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel. It will help us out, and I think it will help you a lot too, because we have a lot of information that we share every single day about cruising and everything that you need to know right now. So first of all, the clarification that I have for you from my video that I did on March 2nd, I was talking about what the requirements are for Canada right now. And as I was talking about that, they said, you know, when you go to Canada now, you can either do a PCR test within 72 hours, which is basically 3 days of when you go to Canada, or an antigen test within 1 day. And so the example that I used for the PCR test is that if you were flying out on a flight that leaves for Canada at 11 a.m. on a Friday, you would need to make sure that you were tested on Tuesday after 10:59 a.m. so that you would fall within the 72 hours. As I was doing my video, I got lost and I said that you would need to get tested before that 10:59 a.m. on Tuesday, and Gordon caught it and he put a note up on the screen. Well, one of our amazing Let's Go family members sent me a message, and so now I've started to worry that, you know, sometimes they put those little ads up on the screen and we have no control over the ads. Anybody that has done anything on YouTube, or if you haven't, just a heads up, we don't control that at all. And so I am worried if they put a little ad up on the screen that covered that up. And so I wanted to make sure that everyone is really clear to make sure that if you're going to get a PCR test, make sure that you get it within 72 hours. And so, and if you get it within 72 hours of when your flight goes, then you'll automatically be okay, because it will still be within 72 hours of when you land in Canada. It just kind of covers all of your bases that way. The other thing that I wanted to make sure everyone knows is somebody left a comment and said, you know, you said you have to go to Arrive Canada, that little app, there's an app for it on your phone, or you can do it on the website. Is there anywhere else we need to go? Nope, that has all of the information that you're going to need there. It has the guidelines to upload all of the information you're going to need to add, like your proof of vaccination and all the information that they want you to add there. If you do all that and you've got your test, then you're good to go. And like I keep telling everyone, we are still waiting. None of the cruise lines have announced what the protocols are going to be for sailing in and out of or calling at a port in Canada yet. The same with everything in Europe, the UK, everything. We don't have any of that yet. On the Princess's website, I wrote down the actual statement that they've got. They remind everyone to keep checking back. It just says, we're working with government authorities on protocols and we will share final details with you before you cruise. Stay tuned. And I am sure that of course it will be before we cruise, but I'm sure that they will give us enough window of time to figure out a way to make everything work. And so I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that. I get a lot of questions on like what testing for land tours and cruises and all these things, and we just don't know yet. And so as soon as Princess announces anything, I will let you know. And so stick with me here. Another thing that I wanted to let you know is we have a lot of information on what is going on in those Baltic cruises, but today what I want to do is tell you our onboard updates, and then I'm going to talk to you about some of the changes and just some ideas that I've got. And so first of all, I thought it was really exciting that the Port of Seattle has announced that right now they have 296 cruise ship port calls scheduled for this Alaska season, and I think that's amazing. It's not 296 different ships, but 296 calls at their ports for the Alaska season. And I did want to let you know that not only is that thrilling information for getting cruising going again and how wonderful that will be for all of the people who rely on tourism up in Alaska, but I also wanted to let you know that if we still have that testing protocol, and I think we will for this year, last year I got to know a gentleman that does mobile testing up there in Seattle, and I actually have an interview that I did with him here in a video on my channel, but he is still running that, and so he will be able to just come to you. He actually goes to you wherever you are and does the COVID test for you there. And so if he is scheduled to be in the port, he can come to you at the port and test you there. And so I just wanted to make sure that you all know that we have got lots of different options for testing. They also have testing at the Seattle airport. Last year I talked about that as well. And so don't be worrying about getting tested in Seattle. There are lots of ways to get tested. Lots of ways. Those are just two of them. So don't be worrying. The next thing that I wanted to let everyone know is we've been I'm really grateful that some of you have contacted us. First of all, one of our Let's Go family members named Trish, she is just, I love her to pieces. She sent me an email and wanted to make sure that everyone understands that the exemptions that Princess does is not just for children. I am very well aware of that, but I wasn't sure if all of you know that. Princess Cruise Lines is doing exemptions for anyone who falls in the category, which now is ages 5 years and up, clear through adults. That's who they are doing the exemptions for. And she pointed out that she called really early. Her husband needs an exemption from being vaccinated because of his religious beliefs. And so she called really early, like way before those cruises, and asked for the medical, not for the medical, but just for an exemption. And they gave them to her for him for two different cruises for her husband. And so I wanted to make sure that you all know that adults clearly get the exemption as well as children. And also make sure that you know, like, ask for that as quick as you can. As soon as you know that you are going to go on a cruise, call and do that. Just so you know, your travel agent cannot ask for that exemption for you. No one else can do it. You have to call Princess directly at their main line and talk to a rep there to get those exemptions. And so make sure that you're on top of it. Another thing that I really appreciated her saying is that they can do up to 5%. And so that's really quite a few when you consider that we're going to start sailing much closer now to the to full capacity on a ship. And so if you need that, just go ahead and call and ask. And I want to point out the reminder that children who are up through the age 4, before they get to age 5, they are not eligible for a vaccine yet because there's not a vaccine available for them. And so they do not need an exemption. And so just to be really clear on that. But I really appreciated Trish letting us know that she just called, and since she was doing it so far in advance, she was able to get the exemption, no problem. So keep that in mind, everyone that needs that. Sharon sent us a quick message. She is on the Sky Princess right now, and there are 1,700 passengers. Arlene pointed out that right now, this week on the Caribbean Princess, they are sailing at 40%, but starting tomorrow, today is March 5th, tomorrow, Sunday, March 6th, is when the next cruise on the Caribbean Princess is going to start sailing, and we've got Arlene, and I know Jeffrey, our Let's Go family members, are going to be on that cruise for sure. They are going to be sailing at 80% capacity. And so it looks like that window to sail with just a few people on this ship is starting to close. But I'm really grateful that we got to do that, and so that so many of you did as well. I just loved that our Let's Go family member Dave posted at 3 a.m. He was saying just that the Princess crew is out cleaning all the time. And so I thought that was really refreshing that they have always kept their ships in top-notch shape and spick and span, but I think that they are not relenting on the cleaning, even as the Omicron variant numbers go way down, and overall the COVID numbers are going down so nicely that they are just sticking with keeping everything extra clean. And then finally, I could not remember if I told you, but our Let's Go family member Jill, she is on the sailing right now to the Panama Canal and the Emerald Princess, and they have 1,900 passengers on board. So that's everything on that. Another update that we've got is Meredith. She is sailing on the Enchanted Princess right now and has been. And she said, I just love what she says here. To answer the questions that some people are asking, there are 2 shows every evening in the theater, in the Princess Theater. The comedian Steve Morris was laugh out loud, you need Kleenex to wipe away the tears funny, and the rock opera was fantastic. She said that there are 2,000 passengers on board, and I love, she says, today was a sea day, which she sent me this on Wednesday. She says you were able to find seating around the main pool. The staff is wonderful and the ship is beautiful. And so thank you very much, Meredith, for sharing that with us. It sounds like everything is going so well on all of the ships. And so that just makes me really happy. So that is all I've got for our onboard updates today. The other really big news that's going on right now is what's going on with all of those cruises that are going to be sailing up to the Baltic region up there in Northern Europe. And so Anita, she is going to be on a 21-day sailing there on 21-day sailing on the Baltic cruise. She'll be on a 21-day sailing on the Sky Princess on a Baltic cruise. And she let me know that on her itinerary that you might recall the other day I let you know that Princess announced that they would be adding some overnights in Stockholm. And for her cruise, they changed it so that the overnight is in Copenhagen instead of in Stockholm, and they also added a call at Berlin. And then also our Let's Go family member Eve was so kind. They are going to be on that cruise that we haven't booked yet, but I probably should, that goes on May 14th. It's a 14-day Baltic Heritage Cruise, they call it. And they got a message from Princess, and it says, in light of the recent attacks by Russia and Ukraine, Sky Princess will no longer call in St. Petersburg, Russia, and it would have been May 21st and 22nd. And additionally, they will no longer be calling in Helsinki, Finland. Instead, they have added a call at Berlin, which is the port is Warnemünde. I don't speak German, so forgive me. But from there, you can go. They've got excursions that go into Berlin for the day, or they also have some excursions that go around the countryside and the whole Mecklenburg region and all this different options to see there in northern Germany there. And then they have also added an overnight stay in Copenhagen, Tuesday, May 24th through Wednesday, the 25th of May. And so they, of course, if you had already booked your excursion in St. Petersburg or Helsinki, they're refunding all of that money back along. They always, whenever you don't call it a port, they give your port fees back. And so that is the update on that. Now, our sweet Let's Go family member, Anita, was sad, and I don't blame you. She was sad, you know, with Princess's announcement that they were adding overnights in Stockholm. We too were excited to hopefully see that replace the call in St. Petersburg on that cruise that we are looking at. But when I heard the overnight in Copenhagen, at first I thought, oh, it's not Stockholm. But just that quick, I thought, you know what, Copenhagen is wonderful. And there is so much to see there that I think you can look forward to Copenhagen, very much so. And so I looked through what the excursions are that are available there. And so when we went to Copenhagen on our, we sailed round trip out of Copenhagen when we went on our Baltic cruise that we went on. And we went and spent a couple of days in Copenhagen before we went on the cruise. And one of the things that we did is we rented a car and took a whole day and drove up to Frederiksborg Castle, and we went over to see, what is the name of that castle? Let's see, I apologize. I think it's called Kronborg Castle. Yeah, Kronborg Castle, Kronborg. And we just had a lovely day seeing that whole part of Denmark. Denmark is so beautiful if you haven't been there. It is just green, breathtaking. And when we were there before, it was in May as well. And so if you are there in May or the rest of the summer, I really do think that you're in for a treat. And so I looked, and there is not a place to rent a car right there by the port. And so we're going to look into it a little bit more, because I thought that that would be really fun. The first day that you get there on our itinerary anyway, you don't get there until noon. And then, so I thought that would be a perfect day to like hurry up and get off the ship, rent a car, and go drive and see anything that you want, because there are so many. I'm a person, I just love to go see churches. It doesn't matter what religion it is, I just love to go see them. There are so many just beautiful, beautiful things to see, churches and castles and just everything in the countryside, as well as their beautiful farms and their little towns. But anyway, so I'm going to work on seeing if that's an option. But I did look, and Princess has this really amazing sounding excursion, which I think is what we'll probably do if we can't rent a car. It's called the Mighty and Magnificent Royal Fortresses, and it's a Discovery exclusive excursion. But they drive you up to Frederiksborg Castle. And if you are not familiar with Frederiksborg Castle, it's in this town called Hillerød, Hillerod, and I don't speak Danish either, but it is a really sweet little town there. But this castle is beautiful. It is known for their collection of portraits. It has amazing art. If you are familiar with the artist Carl Bloch, Bloch, right there off of the chapel, the church part of the castle, they have all of these beautiful paintings that he did. There is just so much to see there. So they take you there. They take you over to Fredensborg Castle. Excuse me, I'm so excited. Then they take you over to Fredensborg Castle, and that is like the Queen of Denmark, Queen Margaret. That's like one of her most used castles, and so you get to tour part of that and see all the beautiful gardens. And they also take you to Kronborg Castle, which is right up close to between Denmark and Sweden. You can actually see it from Sweden on the other side of the water. And it is known as Hamlet's Castle, and it's that whole castle and the grounds there are actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And so we went and saw that the day that we were out driving around, and it is just so beautiful. So that's what I would recommend. And then it says it takes you back into Copenhagen and shows you the Little Mermaid, that little statue that there is right on the water. And so if you do that, I would say then, if you've got time left before it's either all aboard on the second day or it's like getting pitch dark, which in May it's already staying light. You're so far north that it's light really late there. You can walk around Copenhagen, like right where that Little Mermaid statue is very close to everything else. And so it is a perfect place to just say, I'll catch you later, see everything you want to see. It's not a long ways from Copenhagen, like the downtown area, where everything that you want to see is, over to the port. You can easily just get a cab to take you over there later when you're ready to go. And so I think that is a really amazing option. And it lasts about 7.5 hours to do all of that. But it would still, I think the second day, like on our itinerary, you wouldn't be leaving until 6 p.m. And so you've got time to walk around and see things, and then make sure you're back to the ship in time. So I think that right there is a really good option. And then since you've got 2 days there in Copenhagen, they also have like the Christianborg Castle. When we went there, we toured that. It's like the seat of a lot of their government there. It also has like the throne room, which they say they don't use, but it is just amazingly beautiful. If you haven't been to some of those beautiful castles in Europe, you're really missing out. They've got that. They've got a Glyptoteket museum. We went there. It's not on any of the excursions, but they have a remarkable collection there. They have so many. They've got like a lot of ancient Greek and Roman sculptures there, just like tons and tons and tons of art. And it is just, it's really beautiful. It has like the gardens in the middle and just so much to see. You know, those are the kind of places where you could spend a whole day. We actually did it after we flew in, because you know how when you kind of land in the middle of the day, you want to stay awake so that then you go to bed on time and it helps you with the time change. Well, we went there and we just thoroughly enjoyed walking around and seeing everything. And then we went and walked around and just saw some of the sights downtown right there, and went shopping and ate dinner and had a really nice time. And so that is an option. They've got the Tivoli Gardens there. It's like these really I kind of call them charming. It's just beautiful, the gardens there, and they've got an amusement park part of it, but then they also have the part that is just really pretty gardens, and you can walk around. They've got eating places, and when I mention eating, everything is so expensive there, not just in Tivoli Gardens, but in Northern Europe. Just be ready for everything to be really expensive. When every time that we have been to Sweden, even clear back in 2009, everything is so expensive. So just go ready for that. And yeah, just be prepared for things to be expensive. That's just the way it is. And if you want to, you can always, see everything and then just go get back on the ship in time for dinner if you would like to do that, if you want to keep an eye on your budget. Often when we were in when we went on the Baltic cruise and on the Norway cruise, we asked and they didn't care if you took off rolls and cheese with you. And so sometimes we just took that for lunch. I know some people say that you're never supposed to take off food in a port, but I asked and they said it was just fine to take that. They didn't want you taking like fresh fruit and things like that, but a roll and some cheese was okay, so we did that. So just things like that, or you can take packaged snacks with you. Those are okay in places like that, and so just keep that in mind. And then they also have, I noticed, an excursion that's called the Best of Copenhagen that takes you to all those places, and the Little Mermaid statue, just with lots to see. They also run these canal cruises there that take you, like, what's it called? Nisham. I don't, like I said, speak Danish, but they pick you up and they take you through some of the canals that you can see in the city, and then they take you out to the open water and take you over to see the Little Mermaid, and just it's just really beautiful. So there is so much to do there, and I think that you will really enjoy it. I'm going to try to, Gordon's going to help me try to look and see what pictures we've got that I could show you and help you out a little bit with what we did when we were there. But if you don't want to do an excursion, you can also hire, I looked on TripAdvisor, there are lots of people doing tours. And the really nice thing that I think about an overnight is if you want to hire a separate tour guide to do whatever it is that you want to do, you could have them meet you like right when your ship pulls in on that first day. And it really just takes away the worry of getting back to the port late. You can come back as late as you want when it's an overnight. And so even at midnight, just be advised, you can be out as late as you want. And so that's a perfect day to hire someone to take you where you want to go. And so we'll look at that too. So I'll let you know what we think about that. But I just am adding this onto this video just so that everyone knows that there is so much to do there. So don't be disappointed. If you've got questions, you can ask me about it. And I just wanted to let you know, I did notice that on I looked at all the itineraries for all of the different Baltic cruises, and some of them have not been updated yet. Some of them still show stops in St. Petersburg, but that one that we had to cancel that was going to sail on June 29th, that one, the overnight, is in Stockholm. And so the other thought that I had for you all is if you really want an overnight in Stockholm, like, look at that itinerary. That one was like the best itinerary of the whole year anyway. It still is going to Lithuania and Latvia. And so take a look and like switch your cruise if you want to before it gets too late, because you know, if you're supposed to leave like May 14th or after, you can cancel your cruise up to 30 days before you go for any reason. And then what they do, and I know because we just did this, they take the cancellation fees and give it back to you as future cruise credit, and it takes about 7 to 10 days for that to show up on your account. But like the cruises that we just canceled the other day, because we had to cancel our Alaska one to our kiddos, and also the one that was going June 29th, that Baltic one, due to our daughter having a baby, we just canceled those. And like the money is already back. Like we did that on Monday or Tuesday, and that money is already back on our credit card. Like they refunded us that fast. And then they did say that it would take 7 to 10 days for those cancellation fees to show up. But then you can just go ahead and switch and book the one that you want that has the overnight in Stockholm. that's another idea, because boy, is there a lot to see in Stockholm. So I'm just throwing that out there. If you want to do it, you can do that. And usually we can't do that. Usually it has to be within 90 days, and you know, when you can do that clearing up until the final payment date, which is usually 90 days. And so this is really a unique window that you could rearrange and change which sailing you want to go on if your schedule is flexible. So I thank you all for sticking with me. I hope you find this really helpful. If you appreciate these updates, will you please give this video a thumbs up, put any questions in the comments below, and also hit that subscribe button. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.